prices hit a national average of $5 a gallon over the weekend. And here's the problem. It's not over. Analysts say the costs could continue to climb. The peak is nowhere in sight. American households are spending about $160 more per month on fuel than they were a year ago. That comes on the heels of Friday's consumer price index showing inflation rose to 8.6%. We're talking about a 4-decade high.
Yeah, mom and dad, wake up the kids. He's here.
He's
got charts. He's pissed off. Former Treasury official
sure he is.
and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner. No, he's not. But Steve, I look at these numbers, and I mean, I'm sure I was like you, hoping against hope that the inflation would start to go down and ease a little bit. But man, between the war, between China slowly starting to open up again, I mean, it only seems like demand's going to just keep going higher, right?
Joe, we were all hoping the numbers were going to be better, but they weren't. They were really disappointing because it's not just gasoline, although obviously gasoline is of critical importance to Americans and a kind of sticker price you see every time you drive down the street. But it's unbelievably broad-based inflation. And as you say, it is not getting better. And what you can see in the Friday numbers that came out is how widespread it was. You see the red being energy, 28% of the inflation, but shelter, housing was 21%, and food was 17%. So 2/3 of the inflation came from things that Americans have to have, necessities of life. And on the right, I put some just random categories just to show you what some of the individual price increases have been over the past year. Gas up 50%, airfare up almost 40%, eggs up over 30%. Things like window coverings. Who thinks about window coverings?
So tell me, Steve, why are eggs? Explain to our viewers why eggs would be going up that much, why window coverings would be going up that much.
Well, certainly it's not like people are buying huge amounts more eggs, so it comes more probably on the supply side in this case. In the case of eggs, you do have this issue of avian flu going through the bird population that may have had some impact, but a lot of it is just classic supply chain problems. That manufacturers, agricultural growers, whatever, can't get enough of the supplies they need, so they supply less. Consumers continue to demand just as much, and prices just go up. And tires up 16%, coffee up 16%. So we're seeing really large increases really across the board on all kinds of things. And that's sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, you look at these numbers, it all seems like it's bad. It's all going to keep going up. And my God, over the last year, we have seen wages skyrocket. And we've talked about it a good bit. And yet your next chart shows that no matter how much more money people are making, they're not feeling it at the end of the day, because the price inflation is outpacing whatever gains they may be making in their salaries.
They're feeling worse at the end of the day, Joe, as you just indicated. We had in the occasion of the unemployment report a week earlier, we got some wage data, which was good. Wages continue to grow, as you say, in a nice 4 or 5% range. But when you have 8.6% inflation, obviously you then lose something like 4% of your purchasing power. And that's the little red line in the red circle you can see on the chart at the left. So we went from a long period where wages were exceeding inflation. That's that turquoise line. And then you can see they've gone off a cliff. So then on the right, last Friday, we also got the consumer sentiment report, the monthly consumer sentiment report. That's the red line you see circled there. Hit its lowest level ever since the index was first compiled in 1978. So you've got a lot of very unhappy Americans out there. We still have an incredibly low unemployment rate, about 3.5%, but 55% of Americans think we're in a recession at the moment. That's how bad they feel because of what's happening with inflation and their wages and gas prices and all of that.
Yeah, so Steve, I read one op-ed after another about how this is Joe Biden's inflation, this is Joe Biden's fault. It makes me tired. It would make me much more tired if I didn't know that Democrats would do the same thing to a Republican president. Everybody's going to blame whoever's in there. But it seems to me that so much of this is outside the hands of a president, which leads to the next question. It seems to me the Fed chair and the Fed have the real power how much should they jack up interest rates? If you have inflation at 8.5% and it could go even higher, at what point does the Fed step in and start getting really aggressive?
Well, the Fed is going to have a meeting this week, and they're going to make an announcement on Wednesday. The market expects another 0.5 percentage point in interest rates to go up, but it's probably got to go up. Excuse me?
Is that enough?
Not even
Is
close.
that enough?
No, it's not enough. It's not enough. You're going to have interest rates go up substantially more, maybe 4, 5, 6%, who knows, in order to really deal with the inflation. But raising interest rates has consequences, as you can see on this chart that's up now. You can see how sharply interest rates have gone up since the beginning of this year, really. I show you the 10-year Treasury, but I also show you mortgage rates, which Barnacle and I were just talking about, which are up 2 full percentage points to over 5%.
Jeez.
But another important thing for people to understand is the relationship between interest rates and the stock market. And I drew a vertical black line on the two charts, the one on the left being interest rates, the one on the right being the stock market, which hit its peak in January of this year. And you can see they both moved almost at the same moment. Interest rates began to climb, the stock market rolled over, which is why the market went down so much on Friday. And by the way, we're going to have a really ugly day this morning on the stock market, at least at the open, enough to bring the S&P index into bear market territory, which means a decline of 20%. And so this is all not good.
All right, Steve Rattner, thank you very much. We appreciate your coming on this morning.